Would Jesus kill? Catholicism teaches that human life is sacred from the moment of conception to the moment of natural death. So may a Catholic Christian engage in violence, killing, and war, or is doing so a betrayal of the message and example of Jesus? How have Catholics over the centuries responded to this question? What have they believed and what have they done and why? What does the Church teach about this important issue today? How should faithful Catholics form their consciences on moral issues related to violence, killing, and war? Asking the right questions can be important. When it comes to the matter of violence, killing, and war, too often we ask, under what circumstances is it morally right and just for me, or my people, or my nation to use violence, even deadly force, to resolve a conflict? But why not ask the question the other way around? One of the first rules of ethics is that every moral principle must be able to be made universal, applied to everyone. So why not pose the question this way? Under what circumstances is it morally right and just for another individual, people, or nation to use violence, deadly force against me, against my people, against my nation, to resolve a conflict? Before we begin this discussion of the morality of violence, killing, and war, it is important to recall that, according to Catholic teaching, no act or omission is a sin unless three conditions are met. First, the act or omission must be objectively wrong. Second, the person acting must know that the act or omission is objectively wrong. And third, the person acting must freely choose the act or omission. So in this discussion of violence, killing, and war, we make no moral judgments about any individual engaged in violence, killing, and/or war. We may discuss whether or not and under what circumstances the choice to participate in them is objectively evil. But we have no way and should have no desire to judge whether or not any individual is obeying her or his conscience, or the degree to which he or she is acting in freedom. We judge the innocence or sinfulness of no one, past or present. We discuss only acts and omissions and whether or not they are to be considered objectively good. A continuum. At the far right of the continuum is a moral stance referred to as absolute militarism. Those who hold this position, or more likely this set of assumptions, believe that violence and war are not evil in themselves and can be effective means to bring about positive results. Violence and war can be used to right wrongs, to protect the innocent, and to restore order and peace. Indeed, the militarist position maintains that not only is killing for the right reasons justifiable, it is also honorable and noble. Human beings are violent by nature, the militarist position reasons, and so good people must not avoid violence. It is imperative that the good guys outgun the bad guys. Thus, legitimate violence, the violence of the good guys, is a sign of courage, a virtue, and the rejection of such violence is a sign of cowardice, a vice. Violence is glorified, and the good guys who employ legitimate, sanctioned violence are heroes. At the other end of the spectrum is the pacifist position. The pacifist maintains that using violence to right wrongs is like eating blubber to lose weight, or using gasoline to extinguish a fire. The pacifist does not advocate pacifism or passivity, that is, the avoidance of conflict. Pacifism understands that conflict is an inevitable fact of life. The pacifist position maintains that conflicts must be engaged and resolved, but without violence. In fact, the word pacifism comes from the Latin word pax pacis, which means peace, and the Latin verb facio facere, which means to make. The pacifist position, then, is not about avoiding conflict, but about actively engaging in peacemaking. Mohandas Gandhi and Martin Luther King did not flee from conflict, nor did they lay on the ground and allow others to walk all over them. They engaged in struggles using nonviolent tactics to resolve the conflicts they faced. King preached that nonviolence must be militant. Neither Gandhi nor King were absolute pacifists, by the way. Gandhi, for example, gave his support to the war against Hitler. In reality, there are probably very few individuals who maintain the views of either of these two extremes. There are few, if any, absolute militarists or absolute pacifists. Most people, most of us, are somewhere in between the two extremes, somewhere on the continuum.